Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In today's clip we have Sensei Christiaan from our good buddies over at J1 JiuJitsu in Auckland. Now as an Aikido practitioner I spend most of my time up on my feet, but what happens if you get taken to the ground and you end up flat on your back with someone on top of you? Hopefully the next 5 minutes will give you a couple of things you can add to your toolbox and hopefully keep yourself that little bit safer. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, smash that like button, consider subscribing, and I hope you enjoy it.
Anytime that he crosses the center line, either because I've made him cross the center line or he's crossing his own center line, at this point here, we hopefully can bring his arm across the body here and put it into, if we had an imaginary pocket in our gi, into our pocket. Once we put that in our pocket over here, we get some good access to his back. And the pocket guard basically consists of me sitting up, tucking my head in behind his head to reduce the chances of me getting hit by his spare arm. And I'm staying in this position and I'm controlling his body just like this and staying in here. So there's lots of different ways that we can get into this. One way could be from the Kimura. He tries to defend the Kimura and bring this across, and I position myself in here, right there. Okay, so that position there is a pocket guard, and I find this a really useful thing against big, strong people. So once we get into this pocket guard situation, we've got a whole bunch of options here. So the first one we're going to show you is the pocket sweep. So I'm going to sit myself up here in the pocket guard over here. Now, most people aren't just going to lay here and just let me hang off their back like this. Big, strong guys in particular, they're going to try and buck and try and move backwards to try and stop that from happening, which is awesome, which is what I want to do. So as he comes up, he creates a whole bunch of extra potential energy for me. I throw myself backwards, attaching myself to him, and I throw this leg up into the air, and that tips him over. Now there's a little key point in here. So a lot of people will get this wrong, and as he comes up, they'll throw themselves and they'll let themselves go, which then gives them basically control back to the person. So we don't want to do that. We want to stay attached. Stay attached here. He comes up. I'm going to stay attached, throw myself back, and throw my leg straight up into the air to tip him over to the side. One more time. So, in this position here, I'm tucking in, I'm holding on to him nice and tight, making life uncomfortable for him. He tries to manhandle me out of it. As he comes up, I sit back, throw my leg up, and from that point there, I get a nice control. So, a second technique that we can do from the pocket guard, again, we're set up in the pocket guard over here, okay? If I can't manage to make that pocket sweep work, I've got this foot over here which can help me. So again, I'm nice and high. I'm going to take this foot and I'm going to push his knee out. That sets him up to collapse nicely, which then gives me a nice access right there to the back. Again, in this position here, I'm protecting in here, I'm coming through. There's my opening, and here's me taking the back. Cool, so again, we're in this pocket guard over here. And as I'm coming in here and I'm trying to make this work, he bases out with this arm, and that basically keeps his structure and keeps him alive in this position. So there's a really sneaky technique that I can do when I'm here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look like I'm going to take away his base, but instead of taking away his base, my elbow is going to connect with his wrist, and then right there, I'm going to break his shoulder there with a key lock. Okay, let's have a look at that again. So we're in this pocket guard over here. We tried to make that sweep work, but he's created this big wide base over here. Now he's smart enough to know that I'm going to try and attack this base over here. I'm going to reach over here, attack this base. Elbow is going to come back, and I'm going to apply it by leaning my body forward. So it basically takes this arm and then locks him using my body to apply that shoulder lock. In BJJ it's called an Americana. Okay, so in here my elbow is going to come back. I'm going to lean my body through to finish that technique there. So sometimes when you're setting up for the pocket guard, before you get good control, he's already building himself a nice big base over here. Okay, so that's okay. I don't have my kick out sweep. I don't have a good back take from here, but I have got a little bit more space because he's giving me this extra bit of space. So instead of going to the full pocket guard, I'm going to sneak this arm from the front to underneath, and I'm going to slide it in. Now I'm going to slide it in and wrap it around his neck. I'm going to grab my bicep and put my arm to the back of my own head, and I'm just going to squeeze, and right there I've got a nice little arm triangle hidden around the corner. I'm sitting up here, and before I can get a good pocket guard control on him, he bases out and he's starting to work his way out of this way. So here I come, arm comes under, right? At this point I've got a nice arm triangle right here. Now normally I'd come close to this and I'd just squeeze in there and make that happen. So I'm grabbing my bicep, my own arm goes to the back of my head, elbows together, pull it in, and right there is a nice tight arm triangle from there. Cool, so like everything, we want to make sure that this stuff works even when we're not wearing a gi. So again, I'm in this position over here and I'm right here. So once I've tucked in over here, if he tries to bite me, if he tries to hit me, he tries to do anything to me, I'm staying nice and tight and controlled in here and getting a good control on him in here. I want him to do something. If he just stays here flat like this, it's actually very hard for me to do something from here. So as he tries to fight his way out of it, at this point over here, that gives me my opportunity to sit back and sweep. And now I'm sitting myself up nicely. Once I'm in this mount position, perhaps Ezekiel or perhaps striking, whatever I want to do at that point. The second technique I showed you was a back take from there. So again, we're in this position. He's going across here. We're staying in here. He's trying to create something. I kick this foot out, and here I am. I'm on the back. There's the neck. Here's a strangle. Or I can be a little bit meaner to him. Going for that sweep. There, he bases out. At this point over here, I'm staying in here. I feel that I can't make this work. So I reach over. I put my elbow against his arm and attack. That key lock right there works fine. Right from this position in here, I come across here and I haven't controlled this position. So I'm over here, but he's got a nice wide base over here. So I slip under, grab that arm triangle there, and I can finish the arm triangle. And I'm staying nice and safe, and I'm not relying on the gi to make those things happen. Each of these things works together to try and make that attack part of the system.